hear these contentious cats primed for battle.
He's releasing a line of merchandise saying, I'm cashing in on holism. He's won as many Oscars as Leo, too.
What the hell, Campbells? Andy Warhol didn't die for this.
Because for these women, their butts really are their moneymakers.
It will be a memorable movie for years to come.
I'd have let that one go a little longer just to wail on her for a little bit.
Have you ever heard of that city? I haven't.
Good evening, gentlemen, ladies, girls, boys, and to you folks at the NSA who are surely listening in on us. Welcome to the March 22nd, 2016 edition of Ames Tonight, ISUtv's premier show of entertainment and satirical comedy. I am your co-host, Andreas Haffar.
And I am your co-host, Laurel Feakes. Thank you for joining us, and as you can tell, we're all back from spring break.
That's right, folks. We so are. And while I spent the latter days of break bending genders and gender norms, I'm surprisingly relieved to be back in regular pants again. Something I never thought I would say.
Oh, wow.
Also, I developed reptile dysfunction now, and it's messed up. But, do you guys notice anything different about Feakes over here? Look harder. She's 21. Look, you
Big
see it now,
2-1.
right? Now that
Yeah.
I mention it, you see it, right?
Yeah.
Right? How's it feel, Laurel?
Feels like these studio lights are a little brighter than normal.
Well, yeah.
You know.
I just looked at them.
Yeah, they're a little bright. These shades are coming in handy, but no, I mean, I was sick on my 21st. Not for reasons you would think. I just had the flu. Okay. But I guess, like, the only cool thing about being 21 is I can go out to the bars now.
Oh, and spend money.
And spend a lot of money and, like, make my bank account cry.
Yeah,
but other than that, it's not really all that special.
I mean, fantastic for you. Good for you. All right, cool. Well, we've got a simply lovely show for you guys, so let's get started. The first story is the reason that I firmly believe in anything that real life offers us. It's much more entertaining, scary, funny, and just plain wrong compared to anything fiction has to offer. A high school pep rally went terribly, I mean terribly wrong. Good heavens. Now, 52-year-old fire breather at this botched high school pep rally in, where else do we get our stories? Florida. Had a freak accident when he nearly caught fire doing his performance as one of the dragons from Game of Thrones or something like that. I don't know. Now, while I'm not poking fun at him nearly winning a Darwin Award, his response is what I'm honing in on, because he said something like, yeah, probably should have practiced it. Well, and here I am thinking, nah, man, practice doesn't make perfect. That kind of thing is like a free balling type of thing. Just like how we do it on Ames Tonight, it's balls out. Just do it balls out, baby. Now, the man also mentioned that he's done this plenty of times before, naturally, but not with that specific liquid. Yeah, okay, I say that often too. If I was to be a fire breather in another life, perhaps, I would also practice with gasoline. If I'm going to do it with gasoline, practice with gasoline. Play with fire and you will get burned.
If you're a young man that vaguely looks like Harrison Ford, you should not audition for the role of Han Solo in the new origin story. Well, that's according to Mr. Solo himself. Ford stopped by the Ellen DeGeneres show on Tuesday, and Ford elaborated that keeping a role just isn't what it used to be. Who cares that Harrison Ford has been Han Solo since 1977, and spoiler alert, he won't be in any future Star Wars films, which brings us back to another one of Ford's timeless characters, Indy. Yes, 72-year-old Harrison Ford will be reprising his role as Indiana Jones, but no more details have been released on that project yet.
Han Solo's alive. Well, it's unfortunate that we have to sit here and talk about this kind of thing again, because it is sad, it's wrong, and there's no use hiding from it. 3 explosive assaults rocked Brussels, Belgium today in an attack killing more than 30 people and injuring nearly 200 in an airport and an underground metro area. Now, this terrorist attack has been reportedly claimed by ISIL and is one that has put Europe and the world on high alert. Now, on behalf of ISUtv and Ames Tonight, our best wishes go out to the victims, not only in Belgium, but in places around the world that deal with this and are too familiar with such violence. Now, while this is an entertainment and satirical comedy show, we're still human beings that aren't afraid to talk about the issues. Now, did you see our episode where we discussed feminism and meninism? And I completely and utterly owned Ames Tonight's own Laurel, Feakes, and Moran. Classic segment, not only because it proved that I am a winner, and that I'm not a beta male, but because we were able to have a civilized discussion about controversial issues.
Since we are in an election year, which, like Christmas commercials, seem to come earlier and earlier, the presidential hopeful spoke out about the horrific incident today. Now, we usually shy away from easy jabs on this show, but, this time, why the hell not? For once, it's time to address the elephant in the room and set it straight. We owe you that, Ames Tonight. One of the presidential candidates, Republican and small loan recipient Donald Duck was quoted as saying, "Brussels was a beautiful city with zero crime and it's now a disaster city," and that the U.S. should essentially abandon its allies, particularly in NATO, in times of terror because cities like Brussels and Paris have been affected. What's more is that he said living in Brussels is like living in a hellhole right now. First off, zero crime, fact check that, sir. In 2001, Brussels had the 4th highest number of record crimes in European capitals. Second, this is a cowardly move, especially based on what he said in the past about banning Muslims from entering the country. Just recently, he encouraged his supporters to assault and injure anti-Trump people, saying that he would pay for all the legal fees if it happened. Now he's advocating for waterboarding and torture, while he shouldn't even receive an ounce of media attention or even be in the running. But I guess some Americans feel differently.
Alright, so every time I'm on the show, I say something I never thought I'd say. I already did it once tonight, I'm gonna do it again. Ted Cruz made a good point today. That felt weird. Okay, but at least let me explain what I'm talking about. Ted Cruz bashed Donald Trump's prize today for his remarks about the terrorist attack, saying that he said, "Donald Trump is wrong that America should withdraw from the world and abandon our allies, the US's allies. Wrong that America should retreat from NATO, and wrong to hand Putin and ISIS a major victory." Now, while some of that is somewhat exaggerated, we get the point. Who wants a coward as president? I mean, Courage the Cowardly Dog is an exception, but that's about the only one. But wait. Cruz calls to patrol Muslim neighborhoods now? You stupid a-hole. To hell with the GOP. Just to hell with them. Now, I don't blame people for falling drunk. You're scared, alright? You're confused. You don't know what to do in times like these. And this stuff is indeed frightening. Someone like Trump takes advantage of fear. And it's an age-old move. I mean, we should be aware of what's going on in the world, and we should take great caution. But we shouldn't fuel the fire and blindly follow a shock jock businessman with broad racist prejudice and ill-informed views. Instead of leaving Brussels to fend for themselves, we should lend an arm to them and show them our support, just like the Belgians did after September 11th in front of their very own Brussels World Trade Center. Let me be clear though. We don't justify terrorist acts. We don't think it's right. It's not, at all. These terrorists should be held responsible for this. But to collectively punish the Muslim community for actions committed by the few, that I don't agree with. Now, Trump supporters may believe that he's some sort of hero and an inspiration for speaking his mind, and that's fine. And they may believe that, he's an answer to all the country's problems. We'll make America great again, they say, but it's ironic because he's doing the exact opposite by isolating America. And he's creating an us versus them mentality that terrorists frankly want. In reality, he's becoming the problem. On that note, we're going to take it to a break.
Stay tuned, you're watching Ames Tonight.
back to Ames Tonight. I am the Trap King, aka Megan Moran.
And I'm the Trap Queen, Julian Neely. This is your nightly news.
Ex-wrestler Hulk Hogan was awarded $140 million after his case against Gawker for releasing his sex tape back in 2012. Last week, Hogan was awarded $115 million after the Gawker case and now has been awarded another $25 million for liability in the case. Gawker Media has been known for pushing the limits when it comes to celebrities' privacies and what the company publishes. In early 2014, Quentin Tarantino filed a lawsuit against Gawker for releasing part of the script to The Hateful Eight. And Tarantino said he would not continue to make the movie, but as we all know, Tarantino ended up releasing it, and of course it was nominated for a bunch of Academy Awards. And now many people are wondering if this case will put an end to Gawker Media. But Gawker's general counsel said that the company plans to appeal based on evidence that is not allowed in the courtroom. And I guess we'll just have to see how that works out.
Everyone knows the egocentric rapper Kanye West loves himself dearly, and Australian street artist Scotty Marsh captured the rapper's love for himself perfectly in his 20-foot street mural of Kanye kissing Kanye. Scotty posted a photo of his mural on Instagram with the caption, "No one loves Kanye quite like Kanye."
The Biebs is back on tour. Justin Bieber's new tour for his album Purpose recently began, and this tour seems like it's the best one yet. And at one of his concerts in Los Angeles, Bieber took a hair tie off of a fan's wrist to put his hair up, and he didn't even what a lucky girl. Can you imagine Justin Bieber coming up to you at a concert just to take a hair tie off of your wrist so he can put his own hair up? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that girl was thrilled that he now owns her hair tie and that it's been in his sweaty, messy blonde hair, but personally, I would want some credit for saving your show. I mean, where would he be without that hair tie? A hot mess, probably. He should have brought her up on stage to personally thank her for that life-saving hair tie. But to be fair, that was a pretty slick move on his part. Hundreds of screaming girls at your concert, your hair gets in your face, what do? Well, sure, at least one of those girls has to have a hair tie on their wrist. Just go and take it off of her. Smooth move, JB. Smooth move.
Jake Gyllenhaal confessed on Jimmy Fallon that he originally auditioned for Frodo in the original Lord of the Rings. He apparently went through the entire audition process and then learned he was supposed to be doing a British accent the whole time. He claimed after that famous director Peter Jackson came up to him after the audition and called him the worst actor that he had ever seen and told him to fire his agent as well.
Breaking news. Young Metro announced that he has placed his trust in Batman. So we already know who the real winner is in this Batman versus Superman thing. And for those of you that haven't heard the famous tagline that is voiced by Future and says, "If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you." And that line has really taken off. And people are even making posters at political rallies saying Young Metro doesn't trust Donald Trump. And you know what, I don't even blame them because who does trust Trump? Not me. In a recent interview, Ben Affleck, who plays Batman in the upcoming film, was asked who producer Young Metro trusts more, Batman or Superman? And Affleck obviously responded with Batman, saying Batman is a man more of the people, and Superman is aloof, distant, and far away. You can't trust that, and I agree, Ben. I agree with Young Metro, too. I, too, trust Batman.
The Des Moines Register and 2 students, as well as a professor of Drake University, have teamed up to organize a series of forums that are focused on race and race relations in Iowa, specifically Des Moines. The group hosted their latest event on Thursday, March 3rd, called Classmates, Race in School. Administrators of Valley High School and students of Drake University and Valley High School, as well as parents and teachers, attended this forum. They discussed a variety of things from what happened at Valley High last year to evaluating if schools are prepared to deal with diversity. Their next event is Thursday, March 31st at the Science Center of Iowa in downtown Des Moines. That is called the Tough Talk on Race. I believe every single person should attend because it affects you in some shape or form. Plus, our country is getting more diverse every single day, and some of y'all aren't prepared and can't wrap your minds around it. And it's very noticeable because those Trump supporters obviously can't deal with it because they're trying to build a freaking wall between the United States and Mexico. Y'all need to change that mindset. I personally invite our administrators and faculty and staff and students of Iowa State to attend this forum. It is very important to have this type of conversation on race with one another and to receive opinions of others.
Everyone knows that Buzzfeed is a fun, relatable news source with funny quizzes and articles that everyone can relate to. But sometimes He just needs to chill just like a little bit. I won't even lie, I've probably spent hours taking the dumbest BuzzFeed quizzes, and I'll admit that there are some quizzes that you really need to know the answer to. For example, I really needed to know which character I was from Friends. I was Ross, by the way. I also really needed to know what percentage DJ Khaled I was, and I was 100% DJ Khaled, so bless up. But there are some that are just too much. For example, what percentage Donald Trump are you? Okay, well there, BuzzFeed. If I relate to Donald Trump at all, I really, really don't want to find out. Imagine if you scored 100% Donald Trump. That would honestly probably ruin the rest of my life. I don't know about you guys. All right, next one. How basic are you? They're just kind of calling Kylie Jenner out right there. If my memory serves me correctly, basic is an insult, and you don't want to be basic. So why do I want to take a quiz to tell me how unoriginal I am? Next. What percentage single are you? What I personally don't understand is these types of quizzes. If you're single or in a relationship, why do you want to find out how single you actually are according to random and generic questions? And the last one, should you bang Superman or Batman? I really feel like you shouldn't need to take a quiz to figure that one out, but it still exists. And now that I just hated on all those quizzes, I'm going to go ahead and take all of them anyway, because let's be honest, I'm curious. And welcome to Ladies Lounge 2.0.
We're giving Annie and Laurel the night off, so enjoy this not-so-bumpy ride. Recently, Lizard Girl, Moran, and I went vacationing to tropical places for spring break. I went to New Orleans.
And I went on a beautiful, magical, wonderful, splendid Caribbean cruise, and I'm still low-key upset that I'm back in Iowa.
Get over it. While we were traveling, we often Snapchatted, tweeted, social media'd, and complained about some of the most annoying things that happened because, getting there is the hard part.
Yo, people, do us all a favor and don't bring your small children with you. Just don't do it, please. It just ruins everyone's vacation, so just don't do it. You know you want to get away from those little rascals, monsters, demons, whatever they are.
Now, I may look like a caring, kind soul who would make a wonderful mother, but it's just not happening. Ever. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I mean, I love kids, as long as they go back to the parents after some time away. Anyway, I had a lot of kids on my flight back from vacay. I was already dreading coming back to the tundra known as Iowa, and I was sleepy from my 7:30 a.m. flight. Again, 7:30 in the morning. And I find my gate. Of course, there's 3 rambunctious, less than 7-year-old girls running around, screaming and laughing. Sorry, kiddos, I haven't had my coffee yet, and I was not ready for that.
Now, unlike Rachel, I hate kids all the time. I don't think they're cute or funny, and children under 5 just really grind my gears. So, of course, there was a child sitting behind me, kicking my seat and screaming the entire 3-hour flight on my way back to Chicago. So just my luck, right? Not to mention, there were children running and screaming all around the ship I was on for a whole entire week. Now, I believe there should be an age limit on cruise ships, and no person under 15 should be allowed on there. Your parents want to relax, everyone else wants to relax, no one wants to see or hear kids screaming or crying. Trust me, they don't. It's a vacation. Children don't exist. And you know what, don't even get me started on family-friendly comedy shows that I accidentally went to, because no one wants to go see a censored, family-friendly comedy show. You know what, that just really grinds my gears.
I agree, Megan. I've been on a few cruises myself, and kids just ruin the relaxation the cruise ship works so hard to bring you to. I was on my last leg of traveling this trip, and I, of course, got stuck behind a mother-son duo. The kid was small enough to stand on his mama bear's lap and peer over her head, directly at me. And of course he doesn't know English or words, because he's a kid, and he stood like that for 20 minutes, staring at me, dripping slobber from his tiny little mouth. And of course his mom was okay with it, because he was quiet after a 10-minute meltdown prior. Not only was I creeped out, I just wanted to nap, but I couldn't.
Similar thing happened to me too, Rachel. You know what, I just tried to avoid eye contact at all times.
I should have tried that. Another thing that really grinds my gears is airport food prices. You get off your flight and smell all of the wonderful food wafting in the air. Not only did I pay an arm and a leg for my travel, I had to pay $15 for a sandwich and chips. Ridiculous. Cut a young, broke college girl some slack, America. So I picked that airline with the complimentary peanuts and pretzels advertised and pretend they're a delicious sandwich instead. My poor stomach. It's the thought that counts, right?
You know, I guess. And on that note, Rachel, I paid $8 for a drink at Starbucks at the airport.
Ouch.
And that's just ridiculous that I even actually did that. So, overpriced.
Wow. Lastly, the best part of my trip,
as has to be the amount of super hot flight attendants that I had. Of course, they were all very nice, but I was sadly leaving New Orleans. I was greeted by a buff, tan man with a bit of stubble on his chin. Nice. Not so bad on my eyes. Then, to my surprise, he came on board to my plane, and my heart may or may not have flipped a few times. He then came to make sure I was safely buckled into my seat and gave me free drinks and those peanuts and pretzels yet again. Man, he could really make me feel special.
I don't want to burst your bubble or anything, but I think they do that to everyone on the flight.
Oh, well, that's embarrassing. But that's all we have for you on these vacay trips. Catch us next time, and we'll probably be complaining about kids or something else again. Oh, and don't forget to wear sunscreen.
Wear your sunscreen.
'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my fondland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club. I remember the ocean, memories die out too hard. But we were traveling mountains just to find an loudest tease. Set down by the fire, knowing we could aim higher, but we didn't know that yet. So if you want something to hold on to, gotta find it first. But here I am, 'cause I've been laying under palm trees, waiting for the summer, knowing there's nowhere to go. 'Cause I am happy on this island, wanna be my fondland. I don't ever want to leave, I'm in a tropic club.
Okay, we're going.
You do
I'm
you.
in this sounds.
It's your time to shine.
It feels good to me.
You're a
I
celebrity.
know, dude. It's you. You're the celebrity.
Oh,
here.
come on now.
I'm gonna go to Missouri.
Oh.
And I'm gonna kiss a girl. There.
So what's the name of your very first pet?
Alex, he was a cat. He had a heart on his stomach. It was black.
Like an actual heart or like
the signature heart.
like the first looked like a heart, like an actual heart.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
The fur was a heart.
What's the name of your first pet?
Gypsy.
Gypsy. What was Gypsy?
Gypsy was a very, very fat cat.
A very fat cat.
Yes.
Nice. Do you have a pet growing up?
No.
Aw, darn.
But I have-
Okay.
Yeah.
Tubby.
What was Tubby?
A dog.
What kind of dog?
A Shih Tzu.
Oh, I fucking love Shih Tzus. That's fine.
Lady.
What was lady?
A dog.
What kind of dog?
A Labrador.
What was the name of your very first pet?
Keegan.
What was Keegan?
She was a dog.
She?
She.
Named Keegan.
Yes.
You named a girl dog a name that's predominantly for males.
I was not alive when the dog was named.
Oh.
So
who is to blame?
Probably my parents.
That would be Alfie. She was a bearded dragon.
A bearded? Oh.
Yeah, it's just like this big. It's not very big.
Yeah, no, I love bearded dragons. My
Okay,
friend
yeah.
used to have one.
Allegiant is the third film in the Divergent series based off of the books. In this movie, the citizens of Chicago deal with finding out that they were part of an experiment in a post-apocalyptic world. Factions are gone, Kate Winslet's Janine is dead, and Evelyn, played by Naomi Watts, is the new leader. Triss, played by Shailene Woodley, wants to see what is beyond the walls of Chicago. And a group of people, including Four, played by Theo James, and Peter, played by the talented Miles Teller, in my opinion talented, go on a mission to get past the closed walls of the city. The rest of the movie shows how the faction experiment was set up and how the leader of the experiment, played by Jeff Daniels, plans on using Chicago in the future. This movie is held together by two things: Miles Teller's comic relief and Theo James's fight scenes. Lionsgate was aiming for a futuristic film about the wrongness of segregating people by genetic purity and personality traits. However, the futuristic aspect was told with effects about as bad as the movie Batman Forever. For those of you who don't know, that's the 1995 movie where Val Kilmer attempts to play Batman. And the theme of anti-segregation is diminished by acting that could actually be enhanced by Kristen Stewart. What upsets me the most about this film, however, is that it's not the last one. Ever since Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Hollywood has decided that the last book in a young adult series should be split into 2 parts. The last Harry Potter book had 759 pages that were packed with text, so it kind of deserved a 2-part ending. Allegiant was a book with 522 pages, but the text was probably about the same of 200 pages of a Harry Potter book. That means that Part 2 of Allegiant, which I guess is going to be called Ascendant, will either be more awkward to watch than this movie, or will be entirely made up, like the Maze Runner movies. Or maybe it'll be both. This has been a Common Man's Movie Review. I'm Jared Calvert, and I'm just a common man in an uncommon land. Kathryn?
And I'm Kathryn Kuckelman. Welcome to the Common Lady Sports Review. So when I first heard the term March Madness, I was like, what's there to be mad about? Warmer weather? Spring break? Then I learned it was a basketball tournament. I still don't know why it's called March Madness, though. I think it might have to do something to do with all these basketball teams that are supposed to be good, just absolutely sucking. For instance, Yale, a 12 seed, took out the infamous highlighter team Baylor, who was seeded 5th. Baylor had lost to a team that was ranked below 35 all season. How did they lose to a bunch of Ivy League or bookworms? Your guess is as good as mine. The uniforms probably got too distracting even for themselves. How about Cali losing to Hawaii? The Golden Bears lost to the Rainbow Warriors. What in the world is a Rainbow Warrior, and how could it lose to a bear? Personally, I think a Rainbow Warrior is a badass mascot, but I still don't think it could win against a bear. Haven't you seen The Revenant? Apparently one of California's players hurt his hand and just couldn't play 2 days before the game. If you filled out your bracket before then, you probably got your bracket rocked. Sounds like a lame excuse if you ask me. And finally, the one that hurt us all, 2nd seed Michigan State losing to 15th seed Middle Tennessee State. Michigan State had talk of winning the entire tourney, and their dreams were crushed in one game, as were the millions of others who are still mourning the loss of their perfect bracket. Which brings me to my next topic. I think that the tournament should officially rename itself to March Sadness. I swear I've seen more crying fans during basketball season than when that Sarah McLachlan commercial about the abused animals comes on. Sad fans being sad is honestly one of my favorite things because I can't believe people care this much about sports. This girl is a new poster child for March Sadness. She's a saxophone player from Kentucky, and she completely lost it during their game against Indiana. Also, this kid is the cutest sad fan ever. He teared up as Dayton got annihilated by Syracuse in the first round. I guess I'd be sad too if my team got beat by a team that people said shouldn't have even been in the tournament. And to close out the show, I wanted to show you this actual picture of Laurel Feakes after a Cyclone loss while playing the flute. That's all I have tonight.
This has been your Common Block.
Thanks for tuning in to Ames Tonight. We will see you next week. Have a good and safe night, Ames.